Now let us move on to consider statute law other than Acts of Parliament. Delegated legislation. These are laws made by people or bodies other than Parliament under powers which Parliament has granted. Local authority bylaws are one example of delegated legislation. Statutory instruments are another very important kind of delegated legislation. Many Acts of Parliament contain sections that give power to a government minister or public body to make rules and regulations, subject to parliamentary approval. Rules and regulations made in this way are called statutory instruments. Again, an Act may say that it will come into force when the relevant minister makes an order to that effect. These commencement orders are another kind of statutory instrument. All statutory instruments have a short title and a number. For example, this one is the Plugs and Sockets, etc. Safety Regulations, 1994, and its number is 1768. Statutory instruments may be known as rules, regulations, or orders. They are published individually and bound into volumes at the end of the year. There is an annual index to the official series called Index to Government Orders, which enables you to trace statutory instruments on a specific subject. An alternative to the official series is Holsbury's Statutory Instruments. Like Holsbury's statutes, this is arranged by subject matter. Now on to the other kind of primary material, case law. We've already seen how to find a law report by using the case's citation, but how do you find a case if you don't know its citation, or if you can't even remember its name? How do you find out what cases there are on a subject, and how do you find out whether a particular case still represents the law? You already know some ways of doing some of these things. For example, you can find case names and citations from a textbook on the subject. Important cases that have interpreted an Act of Parliament may be mentioned in Holsbury's statutes. Now let's tell you about some other methods. A very useful set of volumes is the Law Reports Index. This gives references not only to the 4 official series of law reports published by the Incorporated Council of Law Reporting, but also to most of the major series produced by other publishers. Provided you know the name of the case and the approximate year it was reported, you can look it up in the volume of the index covering that time period and find the citation in the table of cases reported. The index entry will often give you alternative citations. The Law Reports Index also contains a subject index, so you can use it to find a case whose name you don't know, or even to find cases you never knew existed on a subject you want to know about. There's also an alphabetical list of cases judicially considered, which tells you whether any particular case has been considered in a later case. It may even tell you that a case has been overruled entirely by a higher court, so that it no longer represents the law. However, if you want to be sure you have tracked down the full judicial history of a particular case, you will need to use the Current Law Case Citator. Just remember the name for now. We'll talk about it later.